Here's something I found that's kind of interesting. I'll play it for you guys, and we'll see what you think. I'm going to turn it down because it plays like some stupid music at the beginning. But, yeah, the evolution
of the swimsuit.
Listen to what she says.
I'm sure you've all heard that song before, and I apologize if it gets stuck in anyone's head for the rest of the day. But I'm wondering if you've ever really listened to the lyrics.
How come she's not wearing a swimsuit?
Until a couple of weeks ago, I had never really listened to them before, so I'd like to review some of them.
That's part of the patriarchy. I cannot take this seriously.
The first verse goes, "She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was afraid that somebody would see." The song continues with her being afraid to come out in the open, so she hides in her blanket. And then she's afraid to come out of the water, so she starts to turn blue. Why was this woman so afraid? The song was released in 1960, 14 years after the bikini was invented in France. French engineer Louis Rayard invented the bikini. He worked in his mother's lingerie shop.
The bikini was invented by an engineer? Neat.
Bet you didn't know that, TJ.
Yeah, I learned some new shit.
Yeah, this has been pretty informative for you, dude.
I learned me some new knowledge.
And he named it after the site of the atomic bomb testing that year, Bikini Atoll. He thought that the public's reaction would be like an atomic bomb explosion, and he was right.
In their pants.
His design was based on exposing the belly button for the first time, and he said it wasn't a true bikini unless it could be pulled through a wedding ring. It was so scandalous that no French model would wear it, so he had to hire a stripper to debut his bikini. Before Rayard invented the bikini, women wore one-piece swimsuits like this. Or if they were two-piece swimsuits, they were still very modest, exposed very little midriff, and always covered the belly button. Before that, at the turn of the century, women wore these voluminous bathing costumes.
Belly button.
And they used things called bath machines. Which were like a 6x6x6 wooden or canvas hut on wheels.
Still wearing too much for my liking.
Yeah, they got to wear the hijab.
Yeah, they got to wear the hijab in the water.
Not have a total boner if they were wearing the hijab.
Ooh, the hijab.
Barely see anything.
Oh, God, almost no
Look at her eyeballs.
Look,
fuck yeah.
Look at the tips of her fingers. Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Ooh, man, I can almost see her wrists. Oh.
The woman would get inside of the bathing machine in her clothes, and then she would change into her bathing costume, and horses or sometimes people would drag the bathing machine down to the shoreline, and the woman would get straight into the water so that no one would see her in her bathing costume.
Good. That's how it should be.
We have certainly come a long way since then, from practically wearing a house, 36 square feet, to wearing about 36 square inches of fabric.
Now they should just get naked. That's the next phase.
You go to the beach today, and it seems like everyone is wearing a bikini. But
Even
it was
TJ.
not an instant hit in the United States.
I love my bikinis.
It was seen as a suspect garment favored by licentious Mediterranean types.
Fucking Mediterraneans
In
and their
1957, Modern Girl magazine said it was hardly necessary to waste words on the so-called bikini because no girl with tact or decency would ever wear such a thing.
Only riffraff would be caught dead in such a Not a good upstanding family.
So where do you think she's headed here? What do you think her point is going to be?
I don't know. She's probably going to pull out some chainsaws and light them on fire and start
juggling them
and killing audience members.
Yeah,
and then bears will come in and start devouring,
screaming fucking Latin curses at people.
I want bears to devour the audience.
Yeah, bear. She's gonna fucking pull a lever and the bears will be released to the audience.
Should have called me
And
balding.
one writer described the bikini as a two-piece bathing suit that revealed everything about a girl except for her mother's maiden name. Guards at the beach would measure bathing suits, and women wearing bikinis were sure to get kicked off of the beach.
Or
so
round
it's
up
no
into the
wonder
concentration
that the girl in the
camps.
song was afraid to come out of the water. With the 1960s, however, came the sexual revolution and the women's movement and the rising popularity of the bikini. Soon, no one was afraid to wear one, and
This is the most
in
boring speech about bikinis I've ever
1965,
heard.
a woman told Time magazine that it was almost square not to.
Yeah.
Last year alone, annual spending on the bikini totaled $8 billion. The popularity of the bikini has been attributed to the power of women, not the power of fashion.
Okay.
And a New York Times reporter called the bikini the millennial equivalent of the power suit.
Okay.
So I'd like to take a couple minutes to examine this so-called power that wearing the bikini brings.
So-called power.
A few years ago, male college students at Princeton University participated in studies of how the male brain reacts to seeing people in different amounts of clothing. Brain scans
Do we really need
revealed
a
that when
brain
men are
scan
shown
to figure
pictures
that
out?
of scantily clad women,
Do a fucking penis scan and you'll know.
How do these men react to scantily clad women?
So do men like it when
Indifference,
women wear
ambivalence.
less clothing or more clothing? Let's see. We need a scientific study to figure this out.
Scan their brains.
Scan the brain. Let us see how men truly feel.
the region of the brain associated with tools such as screwdrivers and hammers lit up.
Yeah.
Some men showed zero brain activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that lights up when one ponders another person's thoughts, feelings, and intentions.
Yeah.
Researchers found this shocking because they almost never see this part of the brain shut down in this way.
Wow.
And a Princeton professor said it's as if they're reacting to these women as if they are not fully human.
Wow.
It's consistent with the idea.
I see a woman in a bikini and I'm just like,
this is
sex object.
This is typical feminist.
Not even a true human
propaganda.
being. Really just some fucking piece of garbage that I can fuck and throw
They
away.
always point to some small. It's always some small feminist-led study that's like it really just because this is scientific proof. that
Researchers were shocked.
yeah, to find out that men view women only as sexual objects. It's like, oh. Which we now can definitively say after one study, we've definitively proven and interpret the results in a way that is, it lends
Half the time when
credibility
you actually
to
go
this.
look into these studies, it's not even like the
Yeah,
truth anyway.
I know. I'm just saying, but even if it was the
But
total truth,
obviously we can't just look it up on the spot, so.
That they are responding to these photographs as if they were responding to objects,
Wow.
not people.
It's like a hammer.
In a separate Princeton study,
A hammer that
when
I
men
wanna
viewed
fuck.
images of women in bikinis, they often associated with first-person action verbs such as I push, I grab, I handle. But when they saw
iPod,
images of women
iPhone.
dressed modestly, they associated them with third-person action verbs such as she pushes, she grabs. Analysts
So the
at
more
National
clothes a
Geographic
girl wears, the more you respect her. So really, the hijab is the ideal solution.
yeah, it really sounds like it to me.
Women should just be completely draped in clothes. Like, they should just wear like Klan outfits, basically. And then you'll respect them. Like, wow, when I can't even see any fucking part of her flesh, that's when I truly respect her as a human being.
Yeah,
As long as she's wearing that bikini, I see her more as just like
an object.
an object that that is to be acted upon, not someone capable of their own actions.
Yeah.
concluded that bikinis really do inspire men to see women as objects, as something to be used rather than someone to connect with.
Of course.
So,
It's all men think
it
of.
seems that wearing a bikini does give a woman power, the power to shut down a man's ability to see her as a person,
Oh
but
my
rather
God.
as an object.
Yeah.
That's true. Like when if you've been to a beach with men, like they'll basically just like try to rape or kill or anything with women because they're in bikinis.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like
har-
a barbarian invasion.
I know. It's 'cause you're trying. It's like, is this an object or a person? I just can't.
I can't tell.
The part of my brain that tells me it's a person isn't even lighting up, so
It's got to be an object.
obviously it's
Do-
fine for me
I
to
can-
do what I please.
Yeah.
This is surely not the kind of power that women were searching for.
Yeah.
The power to be treated as an equal, to be seen as in control, and to be taken seriously. It seems that the kind of power they're searching for is more attainable when they dress modestly. But now comes the problem of modesty. The very word modesty is often met with such disdain.
You ever notice that?
especially
You
among-
ever notice that feminists are basically just like Catholics?
Catholics?
Yeah, they're basically just Catholics.
Catholic time terrorists?
No, not even no time terrorists. Just regular old plain garden variety Catholics. Like, we hate sex. Sex is evil. Modesty is the way. You know.
Yeah, they're all just very
you know,
uptight.
the thoughts that happen in your brain are bad and problematic, and you just need to fucking surrender to this ideology to guide you. Really, in any fucking uptight religious conviction.
Yes.
But Catholics come to mind because they're the ones that are all built around like guilt and shame.
Well, and I think you had a more personal experience living in Louisiana where there are a lot of Catholics. Probably the most Catholic part of the South that I can think of.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because of its French heritage that it
Frenchies.
had at one time. I don't
Hey,
know
and
if
the
it has
French
it quite so
invented the
much
bikini
anymore.
too, so.
Right? Is the French?
It's all coming up French.
Is the French presence in like New Orleans? Is it still there?
Sure.
It is.
I mean, it culturally is still there, but I mean, it's
The
not
language is pretty much gone.
Yeah, the
though.
language is gone.
Every once in a while, you'll see a Cajun, but
Yeah, they're few and far between at this point.
Yeah.
they're pretty much impossible to understand.
Yeah, I used to watch a cooking show with this Cajun guy on it. It was pretty funny.
among the younger high school crowd. I remember speaking to a group of teenagers in New York, and when I mentioned modesty, this girl yelled from the back, "What am I supposed to dress like then? A grandma?" And I was scared.
I was scared.
But I have to admit, I thought the same thing when I first learned about modesty. I thought it meant I had to be frumpy and dumpy and out of fashion, and I imagined myself wearing dresses like
You
this,
know,
sitting alone in my living room.
I hate to say it, but dressing in bikinis doesn't make me dehumanize people. Hearing someone say some stupid shit like this makes me dehumanize them, because I just think to myself, how could anyone with human intelligence actually be this stupid?
That is a very valid
So
question.
I'm kind of sitting here like, I'm dehumanizing her at this point because she's just so dumb that I can't even respect her opinions.